It's me, your void. And apparently it's the season of love. February has been declared the month of love by capitalism, so I decided I will lean into this as much as I can, which started with my February TBR being all pink and filled with romance books, and I thought we keep the theme going and I give you 5 romance books recommendations. Footnote: it's not romance books necessarily, it is romances in books that I thought were kind of cute or just genuinely good. So not all of these books are classified as romance books. Keep that in mind. These come in no particular order. It's just 5 books that when I looked at them on my shelf, I remembered that I liked the relationships in them, so do with that what you will. Because a pirate is free, I guess. Let's stick with the theme and put out the probably pinkest book on my shelves, which is Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne. This is a dark comedy romance, and yes, I know these words should not make sense together, but trust me, this is dark romance because it's 2 serial killers falling in love, but it is also so fucking funny. In this, we literally follow 2 serial killers. There is not much more to this book than the romance of these 2 serial killers and the 2 serial killers doing the serial killing. The whole plot is that Butcher and Blackbird, titular characters, met while they were hunting down a serial killer, and like both of them wanted to kill them, and that's how they meet. And there is a certain spark there, a certain type of recognition in each other, and they decide to make a game out of it. So every year they have this little showdown where they hunt down a serial killer together, and whoever figures out who the serial killer is first gets to kill them. And over the years, these 2 characters just get closer and closer to each other until they finally realize, hey, I like you more than just as a competitor in this game that we are playing. It is hilarious. It is so cute. Like, this book literally ruined marriage proposals for me in the weirdest way possible. If you know, you know. But these 2 are just so good together. They are so damaged, but they also have so much compassion. It is a great romance, and if you want to have a good laugh and can stomach certain things, yes, go for it. Next up is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This book is one of those non-romance books. It is not marketed as a romance. The romance in here is barely there, and it takes you a hot second to realize that it is a romance story, but oh my god. In The Starless Sea, we follow a guy named Zachary, and he discovers a interdimensional library situation and some weird secret organizations that keep stealing books from there, but at the same time they don't, and all these books come back to the library and they are stories, but at the same time they are people's lives. One of these books is Zach's life, and that is the book he finds, and that eventually leads him to the library. There's a whole barrage of weird things going on. I can't tell you much about the plot, and what I just told you about the plot is so convoluted because that's what this book is. The plot is so all over the place. You have to trust the book to get there. And even then, this is one of those books. If you like it, you really like it. And if you don't like it, you really don't like it. And same goes with the romance. It took me a hot second to realize that Dorian and Zachary actually are, I don't want to call it falling in love, but at the same time, it's what they do throughout the book. It's a whole thing. But in the end, they're just so cute together, and I can't even tell you why because of the nature of this book. But that ending, it broke me, and then it put me back together in a way that I was not anticipating. Wow. And I still don't quite know what I read. I just know that it is very good. So Zachary and Dorian are up there in my romance Hall of Fame, I guess. I forgot how thick this book is. Next up is one of my favorite romances. I devoured this book, and that is Three of Hearts by Lillian Lark. Now, if you have been around on my channel for a hot second, you will know that I love Lillian Lark's books. She predominantly writes monster smut romances, but it's not like only the smut, there is actual romance happening, because Lillian Lark is a master at writing characters and character dynamics. I will die on this hill. This woman produces characters so three-dimensional, I even enjoy hating some of them. That is how good these characters are. And in Three of Hearts, we follow Zephy, who is a harpy, and she meets Gregory, a werewolf, and what's his name? Aza, Aza, a demon. Now, Gregory and Aza were boyfriends, but they recently broke up because Gregory felt restless. He was happy with Aza, but something was missing. His inner wolf told him, this is not my mate. But at the same time, he felt like this is my mate. So he's in a bit of an identity crisis, and Aza is very much in love with Gregory and doesn't understand why Gregory would just break up with him. So Aza is low-key stalking Gregory, and Gregory is on a job because he owed someone a favor, and Zephy is on the same job because she owed her best friend a favor, and that is when Greg and Aza and Zephy kind of run into each other and something just clicks. Something clicks into place, and we follow all three of them, not just falling in love, but also navigating different circumstances, because Zephy is a harpy and they are very traditionally set on do not stick with your male mate. They are only there to help you get babies. So she's like, not only am I having one mate, but two, and then I also want to be with them and not just make babies with them. So she's a bit confused. Greg is all over the place because what do you mean I have two mates? And Aza is like, I am a demon. What the fuck is love? They are figuring their whole situation out in this little triad. I ate this book up. I sat down and I opened it up and I read a chapter and I was like, what the fuck? What kind of drug is in here that it is so good? Little disclaimer though, this is one of those books that has the accidental pregnancy trope in it. This one does come as a surprise to all of the characters and is not a major part of the plot. I still think it was done well, but I also know that there are people out there who just don't like that trope, so be aware there is an accidental pregnancy in here. Still, the character dynamics are just to die for. Like, this is not a big book. This is not a big book, but what it does is just perfection. The pacing is just yes. Also, I think this is a good intro into monster romance, I guess, because it is not that much on the monster and more on the romance. It's just that one of them is a demon and one of them is a werewolf, and that somewhat influences their behavior. But we're not going all out alien schlong with this one. So if you ever thought you might want to get into the whole monster smut thing, but didn't quite know how to deal with certain anatomy types, maybe this is the one you want to read to get into it. Another not so romance book is The Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood. This copy is proudly sponsored by James from James Too Good, who sent me his book after unhauling it, and now I have not just a copy with sprayed edges, but I also have a copy that is signed by the author. In this book we follow Leto, who is at the beginning of the book sacrificed to Poseidon to keep Ithaca safe, and she just doesn't die. Or rather, she dies and then she is not reincarnated, but she is reborn, she comes back to life on another island, and now she's like a fish person, or can turn into a fish person, and on that other island, she meets Melantho, and Melantho tells her, hey, you have been turned into a fish person because you need to kill the prince of Ithaca to reverse this weird curse. Like, you are the next one in line to kill the next prince in line. So she's like, that prince just killed me. No problem, I'm gonna kill him. And she goes back to Ithaca and disguises herself as, I think, a princess from Athens? Princess from somewhere else. And she tries to seduce the prince so she can then get him down to the beach and kill him in the water, because that is one prerequisite of the thing. Like, he has to be sacrificed to Poseidon, so he has to be killed in the ocean. Melantha joins her, and then the problems arise. Because Melantha is like, Leto. And Leto is like, Melantho. But then the prince happens, and the prince turns out to not be an asshole, but actually a decent guy. So Leto is like, prince. Huh! And Melantha is like, what do you mean, huh, the prince? Leto, you're supposed to kill the bitch. This is, it is so complicated and convoluted to a degree, but at the same time it's also so clear-cut. I mean, my poly ass was like, you have two hands, Leto. Use them. But I totally understand that Leto was confused and like pulled back and forth between the prince and Melantha, and also the curse thing and stuff. And the prince actually is also trying to fix this whole curse situation. So there is a whole kerfuffle at the end, and this book broke me not once, but twice within 2 chapters. Oh, that ending hurt in the best way possible. This book does this weird thing where technically the romance is a vital aspect of the plot, simply because the plot revolves around these 3 characters and the way they interact. So we see the romance happen basically in real time, but at the same time, the romance does not take this forefront, even though it does. It is so weird and so good. It is so well written. And I can only recommend this to anyone who is in their Greek mythology obsession and thinks they need a little romance in their life. Mind you, the mythology aspect in this is not that big. The whole ancient Greece mythology thing is more of a setting and less of an actual exploration. Like, yes, Poseidon is name dropped, yes, Apollo is name dropped, but there is no real mythology going on other than we are being told somewhere in there what Odysseus did, and because what he did is a vital part of why the curse happened, but we are not getting a beat-by-beat retelling of the Odyssey or something like that. This is very much a fictional piece with connections to the mythology around it. But I think, as someone who read this during a Greek mythology obsession phase, you can very much enjoy this if you are in your Greek mythology obsession phase. And the romance is just brilliant. And last on the list is a completed trilogy, which is the Magpie Lord trilogy by K.J. Charles. Because yes, this is the first time I personally actually enjoyed reading something historical, especially historical romance. And in this one, we follow 2 characters. We follow the titular Lord of Magpies. His name is Lucien Vaudrey, and he comes back after being in exile in Shanghai for a while. Comes back home because his dad died, so now he inherited all the things and he's actually becoming the Lord, you know? And he has not only inherited a big estate, but also a magical affliction. And in order to fix this magical affliction, he recruits the magician Stephen Day. Problem being, the magician Stephen Day has family drama with the family of the Magpie Lord, so they don't really like each other in the beginning. Or rather, the magician doesn't like the Lord in the beginning. The Lord is very much whatever, doesn't care. But the Lord is also very openly and very massively gay and is kind of flirting with the magician, and the magician is very closeted gay and like, your family ruined my family's life. I'm not going to redo that. And chaos ensues because they also have to figure out where this magical affliction comes from and why it is there and blah blah blah. It is so funny anytime Lucien is just openly flirting with this powerful magician, and then the magician's like, no. The dynamic is just a random guy, basically. He just happens to be a lord and a very powerful magician, but the random guy is very much the more openly, the guy who is more comfortable with being himself, and it shows. And this gives the dynamic between these characters such a nice twist and such a nice taste almost. The way their power dynamic is just very nice. It's very nice. The world building in this is also great, and we have some side characters who are also very intriguing and very just cutesy and amazing, and yes. So if you're looking for a gay historical romance with some magical elements. I can only recommend the Magpie Lord trilogy by KJ Charles. As you can see, they are not very thick. They are like under 300 pages each, I think. And it's so good. I still need to read the novellas written in this universe. There are 2 novellas out there that follow 2 other characters in this universe. They show up here and there, like they are name dropped. So it's all kind of connected, but at the same time it isn't. But yes. Yes. This is just... I ate this series up. Also, I'm just a sucker for these covers. I'm also a sucker for just magpies, period. So these are 5 romance recommendations. Well, technically it's 7, given that one of these recommendations was a whole trilogy. But yeah, if you're looking for some love in your February reading, maybe pick up one of these. And also, pretty much all of them are queer, I just realized, because this is a gay romance between 2 guys. This is a straight couple, straight presenting couple, yes, but at least Blackbird says that she has dilly-dallied on all sides of the river. 3 of Hearts is a poly-romance with sword crossing, so you have polyamory and you have gay intentions. The Magpie Lord is between 2 guys, and the Lies We Sing to the Sea, again, Letho has a thing for Melanthe and the prince, so she is also at least bisexual. And Melanthe clearly has a thing for women, so there we go. All of these are queer. I did not realize that when I picked them up. So here we are. Have some queer romances for your February. If you made it this far into the video, leave any kind of heart emoji down in the comments. Please don't make it a blue heart though, because I am German and blue hearts mean something not so good for us. Yeah, leave a heart in the comments, or any other romance recommendations. If you have any romance recommendations for things I should read, it's very much a genre where I just randomly pick something in hopes that it will please my reading mood, I guess. I don't know, I'm not really good with picking normal romances. Usually romances just happen to me. Only in books. Yeah. That's it. I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye!